Oh, right, okay. So I'll be honest, I'll be totally honest with you. I actually don't know what this is for. If you could tell me what this is for, it'd probably be helpful, actually, so I could be made more relevant. We were using sprinkles that were a lot more expensive than you can get in the UK. I mean, we could have spent considerably less money than we were in using British sprinkles, but we were using the good stuff. Anyway, to cut a long story short, it turned out that these sprinkles had an illegal EU number in them, which wasn't allowed to be used under the EU regulation. So somebody knew that. I don't know who, but whomever it was, they reported us to Trading Standards, and then we one day randomly got a visit by Trading Standards, who literally came in and said, "Hi, I know this might sound ridiculous, and I'm sorry for having to do this, but you're being investigated for selling illegal sprinkles." As ridiculous as it all is, it was very unpleasant at the time. It was quite intimidating. Nobody really wants to be investigated by Trading Standards because it's not nice, and you also think, well, what's this going to result in? Like, it sounds silly, but where will it end? You know, what will they do? But yeah, they asked us a lot of questions, conducted loads of research on where we're buying them, how much we're buying, what exactly we're doing with them, all sorts of stuff. And then essentially they came back to us and said, yeah, we've confirmed they are illegal, you can't use them, but they all need to be destroyed. I was going to take on Trading Standards and make as much of it as physically possible.
In tonight's Fact or Fiction, we're looking into a story that caught our eye. A bakery has been ordered to stop using illegal sprinkles.
It's the sweetness that turns sour. The top-selling cookie at this Leeds bakery robbed of its sprinkles.
The Get Baked bakery in England has been ordered to stop using American-made sprinkles on its best-selling cookie. The owner of the bakery says British sprinkles are vastly inferior
because they're too pale and the colours run.
You can't bring yourself to use British sprinkles.
Absolutely not, no.
The owner of the bakery says he'll stop making the popular raspberry glazed donut cookie if he has to use those. The incident is being dubbed Sprinklegate.
This is the day that Sprinklegate went viral, and everybody jumped on it at the same time. And the post just says the most photographed cookie you'll never get to eat. Hashtag Sprinklegate, hashtag Get Baked, hashtag illegal sprinkles. There they are. The cookies actually look like shit, but that was because we had to sort of makeshift make them, because obviously at this point we weren't allowed to sell them.
About 5 times a day, people will come in and be like, what's happened to the sprinkles? When are you getting them back? And we have to explain that Rich wasn't happy using British sprinkles, so we just took them off the menu full stop until we had something as good as the American ones.
So a sprinkle is a feeling. For me, it's nostalgia. And this sounds very deep, but it is. The reason why I like the American sprinkle is because it feels right. The idea of sprinkles is that they add colour, and they make something vibrant. And British sprinkles don't do that. It's almost ironic how they're like the opposite of celebration. I mean, if you look in the comparison, at least these look good. What the fuck are they? You know, that is an embarrassment to fucking everything. So if anything, they have the opposite effect. When you put them on something, they make something look dull. It's fucking bizarre. I can't believe I'm doing this. They actually taste awful. You tasted these? So Expensive Sprinkles is a sprinkle brand that we're launching because we have a manufacturer in Costa Rica that's able to produce what we need for the UK and for the EU market, which is legal. So these are mine. So you can see, if you look at the difference in a British sprinkle to mine, try them. They taste sweet. And afterwards, it goes. It tastes sweet, and then it goes, and that's it. And we can give access to good sprinkles to everyone in the EU, because it's not just the UK, it's the whole of the EU. It's fucking disgusting. They look good, but shit. and then good shit. These are about as much as I have in the world at the minute. The rest are currently in Costa Rica.
Every sprinkle is precious.
Yeah.
It's just been absolutely outrageous. It's been not been a day I've been at work when somebody hasn't mentioned sprinkles. And who knew that they could cause such a massive reaction?
Really, it's his voice that made that go viral because people read what he put and thought it was funny. I feel like Sprinklegate gave him the push the business deserved. Like, it was already doing well, it was going up and up. It just opened so many doors for him, for us.
So I hear you got a book deal.
Yes.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
for a dyslexic.
Me? How could you? For a dyslexic?
Are you wearing lipstick?
Hey?
Are you wearing lipstick?
Am I wearing lipstick? I have very pink lips, but...
Well, you've just been kissing the camera.
No, we've been...
That's what you're doing, isn't it? Brilliant.
Are you going to fucking pay?
Great.
All right, cheers, man.
Right, cheers.
See you soon.
See everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Tell me about the Houston itinerary.
So on the 3rd, in the daytime, we're working at the bakery doing prep. Obviously, on the 5th and 6th, we're doing the pop-up, which I haven't mentioned, which is kind of the most important thing. Well, essentially, I made friends with Becky, who owns Fluff Bake Bar. She sent me some illegal sprinkles when we were going through the Sprinklegate thing, and I just thought, she's really fucking nice. And then she was like, look, you know, I really would love it if you did a pop-up at our place. And I was like, okay. What time is it over there?
It's too fucking early to be all get your panties in a wad.
It's very cool for a small business in Leeds to be traveling to Houston. And yeah, I'm just excited to do a pop-up. We've never done a pop-up before. So the fact that the first one we're ever going to do is in another country is kind of crazy. It gives us more of a global stage. So it means a lot for us to basically think, right, well, we can now do this and then grow the business.
The British baker behind the viral Sprinklegate affair will host a pop-up in Houston this weekend. It's good I know how to read.
I know, yeah.
I don't think it's the story so much as how he handled it that got me. Masson tells Culture
Is that what you told him?
Uh-huh.
That's cute.
If you look at his posts, he's pretty snarky. He's the snarky I'd like to be able to get away with, but I can't. Ding!
This shouldn't set. I've done this loads of times.
The cereal absorbs.
Yeah, I know. I've done this before. That's why there's extra cream in there, so it's got... This isn't my first fucking rodeo. Well, actually,
It is.
kind of is.
Yeah. It's 38 degrees in there.
Well, okay.
So, me personally, I would puree the fuck out of that.
That's
Even
what I'm-
that been poured over the chocolate.
Listen, Top Chef. I can't deal with you anymore. What I'm making is a 24-layer chocolate cake called Bruce. It's pretty famous. Have you heard of it? It's 12 layers of cake, 12 layers of ganache. Some people say that means it's a 12-layer cake, but quite frankly, they can fuck off. It's too... Oh, man, this is killing me. This is not good. Alison, what you're witnessing is a nightmare of a Bruce building. So, you know you wanted your dramatic fucking... What's it called? This is it, because this is stressing me out. Of all the things that I'd never struggle with, it's doing fucking Bruce, and I can't fucking do it. Because everything's different here. Everything acts differently. All the fucking ingredients are all, like, slightly different, and it's hard to explain, but it makes things weird.
It's working?
Is it?
It's hard to tell.
I just feel like it's not right. The top of that is horrendous.
Hello? Remember Daddy? Remember me? You used to love me before I went, and then you hated me, and now you still hate me. Yeah. Yeah. Did you play in raspberries? Yeah. Mm-hmm. A couple of times. Color, the difference just making me fucked up. Right, I'm going now. Love you, bye. I basically spend my life thinking that tomorrow the business will die if I don't continue to worry about it. But really, it's just bullshit. It won't.
Do you think that's because it gives you a sense of importance? Doesn't it?
I don't think it's that now. I think if I thought it was that, I'd tell you, I don't think it's that at all. What you mean, it gives me a sense of importance, like if I'm not the one, then it will die. I mean, maybe, but I don't think so. I think it's more just that I'm such a worrier that I feel like if I'm not worrying about it, everyone's going to think, oh, I don't like Get Baked anymore.
So Get Baked started in 2011. I was desperate to start a business before my dad passed away because he was dying at the time. And I used to go and do viewings at businesses that were for sale, like cafes, and pretend I was going to buy them, even though I had no money and no way of doing it. But anyway, I literally thought, you know what? I kind of want to do a dessert delivery business. At the time, I had a tiny little Renault Clio small car. I swapped my car for an estate car. I went and bought popcorn and sweets, and I was going to drive around with it. I said to my mum, you'll take the calls if people ring and I'll deliver them. So then I set up a Facebook page. And similar to how it works with me now, or the business now, it all happened on social media. It was originally called Get Baked Munchies Delivered. And the idea was that we delivered munchies to stoners. It was such a novel idea at the time. Every single person said exactly the same thing. Why the fuck has no one done this before? It took off really well because it was, it's hard not to take off when you're selling cake. I wanted to diversify and start doing burgers because I always wanted to do hot food. We opened Get Baked Presents The Joint. I had an investor, we spent a lot of money, or he spent a lot of money, and it was too much for me to do, really. I was very stressed. I started having terrible panic attacks. I was just not in a good place and didn't want it anymore. It was too hard, and I couldn't do it, so I left. It just closed randomly, and everyone was like, what the fuck's happened to Get Baked? It went from being this thing everyone knew about to then just disappearing overnight, and then I never got over it. It was like post-traumatic stress that I genuinely felt every day would think about Get Baked and what it could have been. It was dead, it was finished. It was forgotten about, it never happened, apart from to me. But to most people, it was just a thing that happened in Leeds once. And it knocked my confidence, I was a real mess. I didn't feel like I was as good as I thought I was, which is a difficult pill to swallow when you think you're good and actually you find out you're not that good. And that took me a long time to recover from, and I didn't actually recover. I went from owning this, thinking, I've got this amazing restaurant and bar design award fucking burger place, and as soon as this closed, I was delivering pizzas. Because what else was I gonna do? And I think it was 7 years later. We still had the Facebook page, and which had like 50,000 people on it. Nobody had posted on it for 6 years, but it still existed as a page. And I thought, if I can put a status on Facebook and anything comes of it, maybe I'll do it again. I did, and it did.
It was after we'd had Sage, so Sage was I think she was only a month old, maybe a month and a half, and he literally came upstairs one day and he's like, I need to tell you something. I was like, what? And he's like, I'm bringing back Get Baked. And I was like, what do you mean? And I was excited but scared because I know how much it crushed him before when he lost it. It was awful.
Over the years that passed between the first and the second iteration, we've grown up, we've matured. He's very focused, he very much wants to make sure that this version of the business is as good as it can be.
I like to pretend that I'm not bothered what people think, but the problem with me is I'm extremely bothered what people think. Because I've struggled with anxiety, it makes me wonder, how long will it last?
Pushing the fucking door and it's pull every time. Hey! Nothing feels right. I just feel like I'm out of my depth a bit. What the fuck am I doing? What if nobody comes? I'm from Leeds. I'm just a young boy from Leeds, yeah? I'm a long way from home. All of my fucking customers are in Leeds and the UK. I'm not from Houston. If people don't come, that's Caelan's fault. Yeah? Super nervous. Severely stressed. I don't think anyone's gonna come.
I drove in from just north of Bryan, Texas, which is about 2 hours from here.
We're from Ohio.
I came from Fort Worth. I came 4.5 hours.
I came straight from the airport. I live just around the corner.
I thought I would be the first in line.
He gets to slice. She's making mallow. Got it?
Caelan's my third favourite American.
Wow.
I'll take that.
Waited 2 hours for the Bruce, got the last slice. We're very lucky.
I wish I could say that this was my plan from the start, but it wasn't. Because a lot of people think that I reported us to trading standards, which I would like to say I did, because it would be verging on genius, but I didn't. It took months of work. It took loads of research into the science of how to achieve it. It took lab testing, freight problems, temperature problems, delays, and then arrival.
Are they everything you hoped they would be?
They're everything I hoped they would be and more. Babe.
Sprinklegate happened, that was out of his control, but if he didn't market on it and use it to his advantage, it would have just got bin and gone. You know what Twitter's like, and things that are viral for a day. Like on social media, he'll like come across like arrogant and brag, like, oh, you know, I'm really good, and then if you actually speak to him, he doesn't think he's good. Like, he doesn't realise what he's achieved.
And look, West Yorkshire Trading Standards don't give a fuck about me in particular, you know. They're not out to get me, they were out to fulfil the report that someone made. But in terms of being vindicated, if that means they're vanished, is that right?
Yeah, I think more or less.
Yeah. It's a crazy story, really.
You don't know, do you? I don't know how many businesses can lose everything and bring it all back, and, well, it's gone better, I suppose, than before now.
The Sprinkles thing is just something else to give us a wave that we can ride for however long.
If I said to you now you've got to count them, how would you go about it?
I could have happily had an interview from the BBC and just sort of left it, and it would have been fine. And that's probably what most people would have done, which is it would have been a terrible mistake, or I could have do what I did, and then result in things like being on this podcast, signing a book deal, doing pop-ups in America, and potentially, you know, massively growing the business. We're in a world where if it hasn't gone viral in some degree online, it hasn't happened. And I just feel like, you know, it's not that it's too good to be true, but almost like it is a little bit. And maybe people will just stop caring. Which I suppose that says it all, really, because I don't want people to stop caring about me. I mean, it's quite sad, really. That's what it is. I'm scared that people will stop liking me. Which is what social media is, isn't it?
No matter your age, your sex, or your orientation, you'll be sure to find a great dessert at Get Baked.